Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Xstrata Alloys Executive Director Mike Rousseau believes that mining has a major role to play to grow the South African economy as well as in nation building. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer is in the studio to tell us more. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Shannon.
Now, firstly, how can the mining industry grow the economy and transform the country?
You know, we are sitting on evidence of what mining can do. And we've got pictures behind us showing the Golden City. This Golden City was built on gold. So 100 years ago, that we saw a university development, Wits University. It's produced hundreds and thousands of very valuable graduates. And we've got living evidence where we live here of what gold can do to grow economy. And all Xstrata were doing was restating this, because there are indications that there are some people within government who actually don't want to use mining leverage for the economy. There's a school of thought which says maybe you should just go the Singaporean route, where you don't have resources boosting your economy and you add value and you become like a Hong Kong for Africa. But that would be, sterilizing in the ground the most valuable assets that one could imagine, which Citibank puts at about 2.5 trillion, and that's excluding the carbon, that's excluding the coal. So, we are blessed with an endowment of minerals and metals, and I think we're obliged on behalf of future generations to actually make use of those. And we can see that this is one of the levers that can really grow an economy. We know it from what we live every day, and they were restating that.
Now, he says that the world is heading for another mining boom. Do you agree with that? And also then, how do we make the most out of it?
Well, Xstrata's Mick Davis, who is really astute when it comes to mining, his thesis in his starting point to build Xstrata was that there were supply constraints. He never even took into account the demand that was building. It was just predicated, the whole business was predicated on the fact that supply was static. Now we have a situation of a meltdown. We had the economic meltdown late 2008, and that was really involving the financial world. It didn't change the equation with regard to commodities. That demand continued. And so we're getting out of the meltdown phase of the economic meltdown, and we can see that the demand for commodities is growing again, and we still have the static supply. So the same thesis applies, that there are going to be too few metals and minerals on offer. And that normally creates a better price scenario. And when you create a better price scenario, people are quite anxious to get into the business. And I think the point was made by Xstrata Alloys this week that they think that we're heading for another firm, continued uptrend in demand, and that supply is still going to be a problem.
Now, based on that, do you think we can expect more growth and beneficiation from the South African industry?
One of the points made by Xstrata Alloys is that to beneficiate, you need energy. Where is the energy coming from? Now, hopefully South Africa will quickly recover, and we can. We don't have to build power stations like we've been building them in the past. We should get them off the shelf. You can buy a power station off the shelf, modular power stations. They can be set up fairly quickly. So there's no need for us to agonize here. There are also materials that can be used to provide the feedstock. We know that Anglo-American was looking at using all its discard coal. That kills two birds with one stone. You've got an environmental cleanup and you've got an energy use. And I think Xstrata is in the same position. It's also got duff coal that could be put to use. And we have got these big power stations going up. The Eskom, the traditional conventional route, is for the state to take full control. We can see that the state is putting its all in with the new Medupi power station, very big one, followed by Kusile power station. They should also let the private sector come in and do their thing, and they have left the door open for that. It's just that the framework is taking an agonizingly long time to sort out, and they need to hasten.
And then finally, what is South Africa's economic model compared to other countries such as China? And what impact does it have on our mining industry?
Well, the point made by Xstrata Alloys, Mike Rousseau, was that, you see, he just took the example of manganese. we're sitting on a very good reserve and resource of manganese. It's not only in volume terms, but in value terms. It's high quality. And we've probably got 80% of the world's reserves and resources of manganese, but we only produce 15% of world demand. So we've been slow on the uptake to see that demand level lifting for manganese. Chinese, on the other hand, they only have about 5% of the reserves and resources according to Xstrata Alloys, but they're producing a much bigger percentage of world production. So their philosophy, if you just take that narrow, is to try and exhaust their resources and mine them quickly and use them so that you build up a wealth. And you build up that wealth so that you can create social transformation. In South Africa, we're saying we must have social transformation. But what we need to do is say, let's have a lot of wealth creation and growth, economic growth, and then let's ensure that we've got social transformation, just in the way as other countries are doing, and notably China.
So it kind of seems crazy not to beneficiate what we've got. It's
crazy not to beneficiate. We've got to see mining and beneficiation at the same time. You know, recently when there was an export of raw chrome ore, well, Mining Weekly ourselves, we said, no, this is not the thing to do. I mean, surely we should turn this into ferrochrome and get that value-added uplift. And everyone agreed, you know, that you don't just export. But if you look at the manganese situation at the moment, you know, a lot of it is just going out raw. And that's, you know, there's similar instances with other metals and minerals. I think we must see mining and beneficiation going together, and we must persuade Africa to see mining and beneficiation going together. So wherever we can add that value. And that creates, you know, the extra wealth, the extra jobs, and we need that on this continent. And I think Africa is thinking along those lines. They're saying, let's mine and beneficiate together. You get a country like Australia that says, no. Don't worry about the beneficiation. Just dig that stuff out of the ground, put it on a train, get it to the port and take it out and get it to China, because the Chinese can do things with it more economically. That is true. But we need to also balance that in South Africa. And it's no good sending some of our metals and minerals out like we're starting to send chrome out, because the argument is that the chrome might, well, there's no energy you know, to beneficiate it. And who are the energy custodians? You know, it's parastatals. These are state-owned enterprises. So you could actually say to the state, you are the saboteur of our growth. You're sabotaging our growth. You're the one that's sabotaging the fact that we can't create wealth and we can't create jobs, because there are two big constraints you have created: energy constraint, logistics constraint. I mean, look at the rail, you know, the rail situation. Agonizingly, people come out here from abroad and they say, you know, why haven't you got rail? That's not rocket science, you know. I mean, can't you guys put a railway line down? Can't you? And then you'll say, you know, Transnet will say, no, well, we've got to have guarantees, and Transnet thinks like a private sector company. Well, you know, they can earn some brownie points for doing that. But if they do it excessively, then I think, you know, the state must rethink, because is it more important for Transnet to make a profit or the whole country to benefit from huge wealth? You know, let's rather have the whole country. And if the state doesn't want to do that, you know, if it's too hot in the kitchen, get out of the kitchen. Let someone else do it, or otherwise bring in a new model where we can both do it. But future generations will point a finger at South Africans now and say, hey, you guys sabotaged us, you know. We didn't have that wealth that the past generations had because you fell asleep at the wheel.
I think things like this are a good idea, and we'll keep pushing in our own small way.
Thanks very much, Shannon.
Thanks, Martin. That's the show for today. Join us again next time for more news and insights into what's happening in the mining world.